Well now, isn't it a curious thing about this life we lead? We walk around, we see things, we experience events, and so much of it we just accept. We see the sun rise, the rain fall, the busy streets of a vibrant city like Cebu teeming with life, and we often just nod and say, well, that's the way it is. We operate on the surface of things, on what's apparent, on what's obvious. But what if I told you that just beneath that surface, just beyond the curtain of the obvious, lies a universe of wonder, a vast ocean of undiscovered knowledge, all contained within the realm of unanswered questions? And what if the key to unlocking profound understanding, incredible breakthroughs, and a truly rich and expansive life is simply to take beyond the obvious, a deep dive into unanswered questions, to cultivate that inner voice that refuses to be satisfied with easy answers, that always wants to peek behind the curtain? Have you ever felt that gentle tug, that little whisper from within, urging you to look past what everyone else takes for granted and ask, but what else is there? What am I missing? What lies deeper? That, my friends, is the call of curiosity, inviting you on the grandest of adventures. The world is like a magnificent ocean. Many are content to paddle in the shallows of the obvious, and there's a certain comfort there, I suppose. But the real treasures, the pearls of profound wisdom, the undiscovered continents of insight, those are found in the deep, where the unanswered questions reside, waiting for the brave and curious explorer. It all begins so simply, doesn't it? Think back to when you were a child or watch any little one today. Their world is a festival of unanswered questions. Mama, why does the light turn on when I flick that little switch on the wall? How does the picture get inside that flat box that talks? Where does the water go after it disappears down that hole in the sink? They haven't yet learned not to ask. They haven't yet been told that some questions are silly or too complicated. Their curiosity is pure, unfiltered, and it's their primary tool for making sense of this bewildering, fascinating world they've landed in. And isn't there something incredibly valuable in that untamed inquisitiveness about how even the everyday stuff in our own house works? Why should that ever stop? As we grow, that circle of whys naturally wants to expand. That question about the light switch, if we follow it, if we keep asking why and how, leads us into the incredible world of electricity, of physics, of invisible forces that power our modern lives. Suddenly, the obvious isn't so obvious anymore. It's a doorway to a deeper understanding. And then we look outside. Why do the birds fly south when the weather gets cooler? What makes the ocean tides diligently rise and fall day after day? How can a tiny, insignificant-looking seed hold the complete blueprint for a mighty, towering tree? These are the kinds of questions that fuel scientific curiosity. This is where the methodical, persistent asking of questions, observing, hypothesizing, testing, begins to unlock the secrets of the natural world. Every unanswered question in science, you see, is like a locked door. Curiosity is the key, and dedicated inquiry is the act of patiently turning that key until the tumblers click and the door swings open, revealing a new landscape of knowledge. But guess what? That new landscape is usually filled with even more locked doors, more unanswered questions. And isn't that a thrilling prospect? But curiosity, this wonderful tool for taking a deep dive, doesn't just look at things, at switches and seeds and stars. It also turns its keen gaze inward and outward, upon ourselves, upon humanity, upon the complex societies we build. Why do people gather in communities in the first place? Why do we have such a breathtaking diversity of cultures and languages? Even in a place as wonderfully varied as the Philippines, with all its islands and traditions, What truly motivates human behavior at its core? Is it the pursuit of pleasure, the avoidance of pain, the search for meaning, the desire for connection, or some intricate dance of all of these and more? And what about the systems we create? The curious mind looks at politics, at economics, at social structures, and asks, what does a truly fair and just society actually look like? Not just in theory, but in practice. Why do conflicts, large and small, continue to arise between groups, between nations, and how might we find more lasting paths to peace? What are the unspoken rules, the invisible currents of power and influence that govern our daily interactions? And why do those rules exist? These are not easy questions, are they? But by daring to ask them, by taking a deep dive into the complexities of human nature and societal dynamics, we gain the understanding needed to build better communities, more compassionate systems, and perhaps a more harmonious world. And then, my friends, if we are truly committed to going beyond the obvious, our curiosity will inevitably lead us to the very deepest waters to grapple with life's great unanswered questions. These are the questions that have echoed through the minds of philosophers, poets, saints, and ordinary folk for millennia. They may not have simple, definitive answers that we can look up in a book, but the very act of pondering them, of taking that deep dive into their profound mystery, expands our minds, enriches our spirits, and connects us to the timeless human quest for meaning. What, if any, is the ultimate purpose of our brief existence on this tiny planet, spinning in the vastness of cosmic night? Are we truly alone in this incomprehensibly large universe, or could there be other intelligences out there, perhaps looking up at their own night sky, asking their own unanswered questions about us? What exactly is this strange, luminous thing we call consciousness, this awareness of self and the world that we all possess? Where does it come from, and where does it go? Is there more to reality than what our 5 limited senses can perceive? Could there be dimensions, energies, even entire universes, existing parallel to our own, just beyond our current comprehension? Now, some might say, why bother with questions that have no clear answers? But that's missing the point, isn't it? The immense value isn't always in arriving at a final, unshakable answer, but in the journey of seeking, in the expansion of perspective that such profound inquiry brings. The mind that wrestles with these big questions is a mind that is truly alive, truly growing. You see, these unanswered questions, from the child's simple why about a dripping tap to the philosopher's deep dive into the nature of reality, they are not liabilities. They are our greatest assets. Why? Because they prevent stagnation. They keep us from getting too comfortable, too complacent with what we think we know. They drive all human progress. Every invention, every discovery, every social reform, every artistic masterpiece began with someone looking at the world as it was and asking, why is it this way? Or what if it could be different? They foster humility. To stand before a great unanswered question is to acknowledge that we don't know everything, and that's a healthy, grounding experience. They spark creativity and innovation. Unanswered questions are invitations to imagine, to speculate, to dream up new possibilities. And in a strange and wonderful way, they connect us to each other as we share our inquiries, and to something larger than ourselves as we contemplate the vast mysteries of existence. An answered question might close a chapter, but an unanswered question, that begins a whole new volume, perhaps even a whole new library. So, how do we keep this curious spirit alive and well within us? How do we ensure we don't stop asking, don't stop taking that deep dive? Well, you have to feed it. Read widely. Read things that challenge your assumptions. Observe keenly. Look at the world with the eyes of someone seeing it for the first time. Listen actively, especially to people who see things differently than you do. Discuss your questions with others. You'll be amazed at how a shared inquiry can spark new insights. And please, don't ever fear looking ignorant by asking a question. The only truly ignorant person is the one who has stopped asking. Embrace the delicious discomfort of not knowing and revel in the thrill of the quest for understanding. Remember, the moment you think you have all the answers is often the precise moment you stop learning, you stop growing, you stop truly living. The universe, from the intricate workings of your own home to the mind-bending mysteries of the farthest galaxies and the deepest questions of the human heart, is whispering its unanswered questions to you every single day. The invitation is always there to look beyond the obvious, to take that courageous deep dive. The journey itself, that ongoing process of asking, seeking, and discovering, is where the real richness lies. It will expand your mind, it will enrich your spirit, and it will make your life an adventure of continuous growth. So I'll leave you with this to ponder. What profound, unanswered question, big or small, is calling to you today? What surface are you being invited to look beneath? What is that quiet voice of curiosity urging you to explore, to understand more deeply? Don't ignore it. That is the call to your next great adventure in understanding. Go on, take the plunge. The discoveries that await are beyond measure.